Hello, so today we are going to talk about default values, just using them in different type of data structures in Kotlin. So we'll focus on just arrays and maps. So to just to see here what we have. So for example, for an array, you can actually change the default value. By default, for example, for a double array, it's 0.0, but you can change it. So how can you change it? So double has this initializer where you could give it, of course, the size. Double array, you could give it the size, but you could also give it an initializer function. And this doesn't have to be just a single value. It can be a function where you calculate something. And it will be called for each array element, right? Starting from the first one until the end, right? And so here, for example, let's say we want to initialize them with 1.0. This may happen in some use case. Let's say maybe you have, I don't know, you are doing some inventory calculations, and the default values for each item maybe is 1, for example. So you could actually initialize it with 1. And if we take a look here, before setting up a default value, we have just zeros. With the default value, we have that value, right? Similarly, that can also apply to a list. Let's say we have an array of lists, and I think this is a little bit more common, right? Maybe you want a list of lists, and for each list you want to add some values, and so you want each default value to be initialized to a mutable, for example, list, right? So in that case, you could make that the default value here, and if we print, you can see we have a list of 5 values. Maybe you want them even to have some default values, and you can do that as well. Yeah, this is just to give you an idea, but your use case is going to be something more meaningful than this. Yeah, so that's for arrays. And the other example I want to give is for map. You have this with default option. So basically what default does is it will give you a wrapper that obtains the default value when you use get value function specifically on a key that is not in the map, right? But the caveat here is that if you use just this accessor like this, where you take your map and you just access the key like this, or you use get instead of using get value, the behavior will not be, you won't get the default value, you will get just null, right? So that's just a caveat here to remember. And then here, yeah, so basically it will just create a wrapper of the map that you give it as input, as receiver, basically. And that map will, when you use get value on a key that is not in the map, it will return you the default value that you gave it here. So let's do it on an example. So let's say we have fruit counts, right? Strawberry 2, banana 4, and you get the idea. And with the default function here, that if the value is absent, we want to use just a question mark, right? So here with strawberry, we should get 2. I'm using get value here. And with pineapple, it's not here, right? So because we used get value, we should get a question mark. And then for raspberry, because we use this accessor, we will get null. And similarly with this accessor with just a get. So let's see how that if that works. Let me just comment the function here. Just get rid of this for now. Okay, so let's print these values and see what we get. Okay, so you can see for this one we get 2 question mark because we used get value. But when we use this accessor and this accessor, we get null values. Right? So this is something to be aware of. Kotlin did it specifically because did it in this way to maintain, I think, map contract. There are a lot of details and a couple of other considerations that went into this. I know in the face of it, it seems like bad design, but I would recommend reading this issue tracker. I'll leave it in the description to just understand the reasoning more. Okay, so that's if you want to use it, make sure to use get value. The other thing to be careful of is with default usage, if you alter the map, then the behavior will no longer be maintained, because you can think of it as you have a new map, right? That doesn't use the with default behavior anymore. So if let's say we have fruits with kiwi here, and we have the fruits count, but we add in a map of just kiwi that is mapping to 6 count, right? So in that case, if I try still using get values similar to here, and I want to get pineapple, maybe I want to get question mark, right? But we changed the map, so we actually won't get that. So let's just print it and see. Let's first just print a separator here. And so if we print this, you can see we actually get question marks from the fruits count, from the initial fruit count. But if we try to do it with this fruit, with kiwi, what will happen? Let's see. So you can see an exception even, because get value throws an exception if there is no such a key in the map. And so here, because this is a new map that doesn't have the with default behavior, if you try to get pineapple, because it's not in the map, it will return you, it will get an exception that the key is missing, right? So that's something to be careful of, that if you alter the map, you lose the with default behavior. If you alter it and get a new map, which makes sense, right? So here, if we, this behavior makes sense, but you just need to pay attention to it. Now, the other way of getting default values that I want to mention, so that you can use it if you don't want to deal with all of this challenges, then you could just use get or default. And that will always give you a default value if it's not present. So that will always give you so you can see here we get the default value of question mark. So you can use that if you don't want to deal with all of this. So that's pretty much it, I think, what I wanted to cover for today. Please like and subscribe, and see you on the next one. Bye.